Assassination is something that shouldn't be encouraged at all. And as a matter of fact, as a photographer, I've had a keen interest in the recent happenings in the USA in view of Donald Trump's assassination attempt. And here is my take on the recent development of how everything unfolded. So tag along, let's have a breakdown. So for political events, before you get access to actually shoot at a political event, you have to be authorized in order to shoot. And during Donald Trump's event, 4 photographers were authorized to shoot within the buffer zone, which is also referred to as the pit for musical concerts or musical events. So authorized photographers for the event was Ivan Vucci for AP News. He's an award-winning photographer and also an money maker for Getty. And again, Doug Mills for New York Times. And lastly, Jabin Botford for Washington Post. There was an intern from Donald Trump's camp who happens to be a photographer, and I got to find out that the main photographer for Donald Trump had quit some few weeks ago. So there was an intern shooting from the camp of Donald Trump. So these were the photojournalists authorized to shoot at the event. To start with the breakdown, let's have a look at how everything went by. Okay, so let's watch the video carefully and dissect what actually happened at the event.
It's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something to said, take a look at what happened.
Yeah, so just as you can see, there was the very first fire which came, and there was the second one which actually got to the ear area of Donald Trump. And at that particular moment, everyone was down on the stage, and the Secret Service personnel were trying to get him off the stage. So at this point, you could see that the camera actually dropped back. That was the main camera for the streaming actually zoomed out to actually get everything in focus on stage. That's a wide angle of what was happening. And fast forward, you could see that at the bottom left corner, the photographers were rushing to the stage to actually document what's actually going on. And quickly, you could see that they rushed to the right side of the stage, looking at where Donald Trump would be exiting, since there were multiple exits of the stage. So at the instance where the gunshot was fired, you could see that Ivan Vucci was the man with the hat who was pointing the camera at that angle, the lower angle, to actually capture whatever was going on. And you could see that Doug Mills was actually right behind, because these are professionals actually working. So they were rushing to actually get the shots done, and quickly you could see Ivan rush to the right side, thinking that would be where Donald Trump would be exiting. So at this point, they were actually finding ways and means to actually get him off the stage. And you could see photographers were moving up and down to actually document whatever was going on. You could see behind the stage was another photographer, which I guess was the Getty image photojournalist and a money maker. These are professionals who were ready to risk their lives to actually document this historic moment.
Let me get my shoes. Hold up, your head is bloody. So we gotta move to the front.
So these guys are actually professionals at what they do. And you could see Trump actually sticking out a fist. There was a camera right in front of him trying to get that moment captured. And I guess that was a shot from Ivan Vucci. Yeah, so the video ends here, and upon a little bit of research, I got to find out that the photographers had no cell coverage for about 45 minutes, but they were able to transmit these feed straight from camera to the bench for people to actually get that out there to make news of what actually went on during the event. And I also came to find out that most of these photographers actually shoot with Sony, because Sony has a new device out which can help you transmit your files to decks whilst you are even shooting. I think that's an interesting feature of these Sony cameras. And I'm not telling you to actually move to Sony, but then this what happened. I also found out that Ivan was interviewed on The Guardian, and what he came up with this statement, and I paraphrase him: "You are there to do a job. Stay calm, compose, and expose." You know, they reacted differently from the full-time photojournalists, and I'm not here to actually fault them. No photos actually came out from the camp of the trans photographer, and all photos that came out actually came from these professional photojournalists who were present at the event shooting. That's the difference between photojournalists that are seasoned professionals and also someone that is an intern or just learning. Here are some of the images that came out from the event. This image actually came from Ivan Vucci, and this one from an money maker, Fogetti. I think this shot was actually cropped in, trying to get a very tighter perspective of it. And also this one also came from Doug Mills, which was able to capture the bullets. Amongst all these images, I think that one which stood out to me and is worthy of actually getting rewarded or receiving an award is this image right here, which was shot by Ivan Vucci. The reason why this image actually stands out to me is looking at the composition and the movement. Flag of the United States of America right in the frame was something that was not easy to document, but he was able to get it done effortlessly. Together with the blood and the Secret Service trying to escort Donald Trump off stage, this image is actually award worthy. Yeah, and was shot by Ivan Vucci. Another thing that I realized was Ivan was using a Sony A9 III for his documentary, and together with the other photojournalists, some were using Sony as well. Some actually have collaborations with Sony, and one thing I know is Getty also has a collaboration with Canon, so I'm sure Anna Moneymaker was using a Canon to document the event. Come to think of it, is it actually luck that made these photojournalists be able to document these historic moments? Though it came off as luck to the layman, from my own point of view as a photographer, I think his experience and also preparation meeting the luck to actually make everything happen. This is what photojournalists do, and what they do is not going to be replaced by a robot or AI anyway, because to be at a particular spot at the right time and shooting at the right angle means so much that these robots wouldn't have the human knowledge to actually do that. And in the heat of the moment, it takes only humans, from my point of view, to actually execute such a task and come out with documenting moments as natural as possible, and also telling stories that generations must have to hear. Concluding on my take of how the whole thing unfolded, one thing that I noticed was most people are not talking about which cameras they used, neither do they talk about the settings they used and how they did it. All they are talking about is photos, 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 and photos. So when it comes to the work of being a photojournalist, whatever device you have with you that is able to actually capture moments is more important than waiting for the right gear to execute such a task. Photojournalists are going to live on, and much applause to Ivan, Doug, Anna, and Jabin, who actually documented and froze this historic moment, which will live years on to actually tell the story of American politics. Thanks for sticking and staying throughout my take on this event. And not forgetting, you can see behind me is a very nice canvas backdrop, which was actually bought from Vintage Backdrops. You can check them out on Instagram, and if you need any canvas backdrop, I assure you that they will get you the best. And also use my discount code Anchor to get 10% discount off all your purchases you make with vintage backdrops. Thanks for sticking and staying to the end of this video. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to other people. And Charlie, on to the next, just as we always do it. Charlie, we go talk, Charlie. Peace.